Hey, what's going on, guys? Marvin here. Welcome back to another video. So this video, I'm going to try to help you guys out with learning product research and evaluating products. So we're going to go take a deep dive into two products and break down all of the data on the Keepa graph. We're going to look at monthly sales. We're going to look at competition. So that way, when you guys are scanning your list and you guys are debating on whether to buy a product, you can refer back to this video and just follow along and make sure you guys are hitting all the steps. Make sure you guys haven't forgotten anything and use this video as a resource for when you're trying to break down products to decide whether you want to buy the product or whether you want to stay away from the product. Okay, so in this video, we're going to be assuming that you have already used a scanning software like ScanUnlimited to find your products. These are not products of mine. These are just products that I thought had good examples on the Keeper graph. But if you guys need a scanning software, ScanUnlimited is my absolute favorite. I have a 50% off discount code down below and you'll save 50% off your first month. Everybody that I know uses this, absolutely loves it, so this is my absolute favorite. And then we're also going to assume that the profit you're making on these products, these hypothetical products, you're good with. Okay, we're not going to discuss profit. We're just going to break down the data as far as Keepa graph, competition, sales velocity, and all of that. But we're assuming the profit that you're making on these products you're happy with. All right, so let's get started. All right, so this first product is Mario Kart Wii, and it looks like somebody uploaded their own photos because these are not like the professional photos or the photos of just the game. It looks like it's on somebody's desk, but nevertheless, we're going to break this product down. And also the two products that I picked, you aren't gated in any sort of category. This one falls under video games, which you can sell in, and then the next product falls into toys and games. But you're not gated in toys and games. You're gated in the toys subcategory. But the products that I'm showing you, you may need to brand ungate. Like you may need to ungate for Nintendo brand, but those are not difficult to do. So that's why I picked these products. Maybe give you guys ideas of which directions to go when you're trying to source suppliers. All right, so if you're new to Keepa and you haven't really set anything up, your graph might look something like this, which may be super overwhelming, right? You're not going to need all of this stuff all at once. It's going to be super overwhelming. I'm going to show you the bare bones minimum that you need to have turned on, and it's going to make it way simpler. All right, so these are the bare bone minimum that you need to have turned on. You need to have Amazon because you want to know if Amazon is on it. So if you hover over it, it's going to highlight what it is, and it's the orange field. In the other example, we're going to see where Amazon is a little bit more prevalent, but in this one, they've only showed up a little bit as far as we've gone for the 3 months. You also need to know the sales rank. This is going to help you determine the sales velocity for a product. So super, super important. You also want to know the buy box, which is the pink diamonds on the screen. But again, this is the absolute bare minimum that you need to have turned on to make this work. And now on the bottom, we're going to only have the new offer count. So this is how many sellers are selling it in the new condition. And we can see that it goes up and it goes down. But this is the bare bones minimum data we want to have turned on. Also, it's going to automatically by default be at 3 months, but we want to go back at least a year. A year is the perfect time frame in my opinion because look, we have 1,600 days of data, right? Which is great. We have a ton of data. But the reason I don't go back 2 years, 3 years is because markets change, right? So the demand for this product 3 years ago isn't going to be relevant to the demand of the product this year, okay? Some cases it might be, but for the most part, 1 year never steers me wrong. When you're looking at price for the product, because it's super important, obviously, you want to know what price you're going to be selling it at. So you want to see what is the highs as far as price, what are the lows, and what are the averages. What is the average throughout the year, roughly, that the product has been selling? And you also want to know the lows because if it's been at a low price point for an extensive period of time, chances are it's going to go back down there. Are you okay if it goes back down there? Or are you going to hold on and be okay with holding onto the inventory until it bumps back up? Those are all things that you need to be processing and thinking about before you purchase a product. Now, the last thing that you want to do is focus just right here. What it sold for in the last week, in the last month, a ton of new arbitrage sellers, this is all they focus on. They see that it sold a week ago for $45 almost, $44.49. And that's how they base their decision. And that's why they lose a lot of money. And then there's a huge race to the bottom. Okay? Don't do that. You have a ton of data here to help you make a good buying decision. We're not doing private label. We don't have to do educated guesses here. There's no guesswork. This is the exact data for this exact product that you're interested in. Okay? So take your time, digest the data, and then make a decision after that. But definitely use as much data as possible. So we can see that the highest it's ever been is 44.49 as of recently. And the highest all time for the last year is 44.99. Okay. and it's gone as low as $34.25. So if we look at the average price, it's hovering between $39, a little over $39, and $34. So it's going to be somewhere in between. If I had to guess, if just from eyeballing it here, I would say that the average is between $37 and $38 that you're probably going to sell it at if you hold on to it for a little bit in case it were to dip down to 34. But you want to be prepared if it does dip down to 34.65, which it was for a month, almost 2 months, and be prepared that if it does drop to that, what are you going to do? Are you going to sell it or are you going to hold on to it? Because chances are it will go back down to this price at some point, but chances are it will go back up to $39.80 at some point. So you want to be okay with the averages, but you also want to be aware of the highs and the lows. Okay, does that make sense? Hopefully I'm explaining this pretty simply. I'm trying to keep this super simple. That's why I picked these two products. I'm going to do this a couple more times, and we're going to get a little bit more advanced as the examples go. And then the Keepa graphs will get a little bit more complicated, and we'll break all those down. But for these first ones that I wanted to break down, I wanted to keep them super simple. All right, so for me, this product is for sure a go. Amazon has barely ever been on it. And the price is relatively consistent. You know, you're going to sell it between $39.80 and $34.25. Okay, so you're probably, you know, if you hold on to it, you'll probably sell it between $37 and $38. It's a little high right now, but like I said, if you can get some of these sales, fantastic, but you know the averages. So now we want to find out what is the average sales rank that it's been for the last 3 months and the last 6 months to kind of get an idea of how much sales velocity is going on with this product. So if you go to statistics on the Keepa graph, just hover over it, it's going to show you this box. You go all the way to the right where it has the green box, and you go to the last 90 days, last 180 days. So it's giving you the average sales rank for the last 3 months and the last 6 months, which is a fantastic sales rank. It's going to sell a ton of units. But because I know some of you guys are going to watch this later on in the year in 2020, we're in Q4 right now, right? So if you're sourcing this product in February or March, these 90-day and 180-day stats of averages is going to be skewed because we just went through quarter 4, right? So quarter 4, usually everything spikes downward. And if you don't know, the sales rank, the lower it is, the more units it sells a month. So during quarter 4, it's going to spike downwards and sell a lot more units. So if you're basing it off of the averages and you just went through quarter 4, or you just went through Halloween, or you just went, you know, through some sort of event or some sort of holiday, it could skew those numbers. So you always want to look back at least a year so you can see what you're looking at, what it's being based off of, okay? But right now we're in quarter 4, so if we were sourcing this right now, this is what the sales rank we would go off of. So then we go to the Jungle Scout Sales Estimator. This is my favorite tool for estimating sales numbers because the only purpose of this software is to calculate sales estimates, or to calculate, you know, the sales volume for the month for this certain product. So we want to pick a marketplace. I'm in the US and want to go down to video games. Okay, and we said the sales rank, the average is 165. So this product sells 2,610 units per month. That's a lot, right? But you're not getting all of those sales because you also have competitors. So it's great. We know the number. So now let's go back and look at our competitors. So we want to go here where it says other sellers on Amazon. So it's going to take you to this other page, and you want to make sure you check the Prime box and the New box because we only care about the sellers selling in the same condition and in the same way as we're selling, right? Prime, so they're selling FBA, and New because we're selling in new condition. We have a few competitors here. We have this one at $40.90, but they are back ordered, which means Amazon is still processing their units. And then we also have these 4 other ones at $40.93. Now, if you're in a certain percentage to the buy box, then you will still get some sales, right? So all of these 4 guys right here, all of these 4 people right here are getting sales right now because obviously they're not able to sell any units. But they may still be getting sales because they're in a close enough percentage. I think it's 2% to the buy box. You can still get sales. Now, this doesn't happen every single time because I've tested it out many times by going above, you know, by going around 2% to the buy box. And, you know, it does work, but not all the time. So to be conservative and to make sure that we're going to be making a right purchase, we're going to lump all of these 5 people together, and they are our competitors. So we have 5 people plus yourself. That's 6 people splitting up that 2,600 units of sales. So you take 2,600 and you divide it by the 6 of you, And each one of the sellers on this listing is going to be getting 435 sales estimated. Okay, it's not 100%, but it's estimated, so it's pretty close. So 435 sales. So obviously, so for me, I would say absolutely jump on this product if you have access to it. Great product to get into. Okay, so that's product number 1. Now this is product number 2. This is Pokemon Elite Trainer Box. Like I said, this falls under toys and games, but you can still sell it. It's kind of like the board games. You can sell board games even though they fall under toys and games because you're not gated in the toys and games category. You're gated in the toys subcategory. All right, does that make sense? We already set our bare bones minimum filters on here. Sometimes I use other ones for sure, but right now we're just going off the bare bones for these listings, and we want to be back 1 year. Okay, so the orange field, as we can see, Amazon is a lot more prevalent in this listing, but doesn't mean that you can't sell this product. It just means that you have to take it a step further and see if they're sharing the buy box. Sometimes Amazon shares the buy box and sometimes they don't share the buy box, and you want to make sure you have a really good idea of what they're doing. I mentioned this in another video. I've actually done experiments against Amazon. So I've bought products on purpose, like test orders on products that Amazon doesn't even show that they share the buy box even one time. And they sold right along me that entire time. I was getting the sales at the exact same price as Amazon. But would I consistently do that? Absolutely not. All I took away from that was that Amazon's unpredictable and they can do whatever they want at any time. So you definitely want to rely on what I'm going to show you right now to determine if you want to sell next to Amazon. So what we want to do is we want to hover over the diamonds, the pink diamonds that are representing the buy box. We can see Amazon has been on quite a bit, so we can get a pretty good idea of what they're going to do. And we'll start from right now. Okay, so most recently. So they are sharing as of right now, and then they had a gap that they weren't even on the listing. They must have sold out. And then we can see here Amazon, you can see on the buy box, it shows a pink square right there. That's who's winning the buy box. And Amazon's winning it, but then third party, Amazon, third party right there. Right there. Keep going, another third party. Okay, so we're confident that they've been sharing the buy box between September and November. So let's check out other times in the year. So over here in May when they were on here, they share the buy box. Let's see, they shared the buy box all these times, and even in the beginning of the year, they share the buy box. Okay, so you guys see what I'm looking at? Pink diamond, you hover over it. If it says third party FBA on the buy box, that means they're sharing the buy box this time. You want to make sure it's more than just once. Okay, you want to make sure it's more than just once or twice. This is a good example. Okay, there's a bunch of times that they're sharing throughout the entire year, not just at one point. And if we go to this one over here, you see the buy box says by Amazon. That means Amazon won the buy box on this particular time. Okay, so this is a good example of when Amazon is sharing the buy box because the third-party sellers are getting a lot of sales. Okay, so we want to look at the averages. We want to see how many units it's selling, and then we want to look at competitors to decide if we want to buy it. So we go to statistics. We can see that the averages, I'd feel pretty comfortable splitting that down the middle and say it's about 4,000. If you want to be a little bit more conservative, you can get, say, 4,100, 4,200 as far as the sales rank. Okay, so this falls under toys and games. And we'll be a little bit more conservative. We'll go 4,100. All right, so it's selling just over 1,300 units. So we're going to go over here. And don't be afraid, guys, if you're looking at the statistics and it just doesn't add up, don't be afraid to just trust your gut and just eyeball it, right? So if it's like really spiking up really high right here, saying it's not getting a lot of sales, but then it dips really hard for a couple of months, it's going to skew the results, okay? But this looks pretty consistent throughout the whole year. But if you have a bunch of these that are even higher, all these spikes, these green spikes from the sales rank that are all higher like this, and then you have like 1 or 2 months that it's really low, like down here with 700, 600 sales rank, it's going to skew it. So just use your judgment call when you're dealing with that. But this one is a good example of it's pretty consistent. It goes up and down. It's obviously it sells better throughout certain times of the year, but it's pretty consistent. So that's why we're comfortable going off of what the statistic is saying. So a little bit over 1,300. We want to go see the other competitors. This is kind of Amazon's new thing. I don't really like it. I don't like the way it looks. And then I also don't like that I can't have Keepa even bigger. But nevertheless, it's what you have to work with a few different listings now. Make sure that you're clicking see more right here. This seller right here is the one winning the buy box as of right now. but you want to make sure you click see more, because sometimes they're not going to pop up right here. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So you want to make sure you click that, because that could be an additional competitor, or that is additional competitor if they're in the buy box. So we have 1, we have 2, we have 3, and then we have Amazon. But these guys are winning the buy box as of lately, so we know they're the 3 competitors we're dealing with. So there's 3 competitors plus you. That's 4 people splitting the buy box. If you want to be super conservative and you want to make sure you're not going to over purchase, then you can lump in Amazon, because obviously Amazon can just drop down at any moment, and then divide the 1,300 by 5 of you instead of 4. Okay, but that's up to you, depending on your level of your risk tolerance. But we're going to say that I'm pretty confident that it's just these 3. So there's 4 of us. So we go back over here. We know it's 1,350, and we divide it by the 4 of us, which comes out to about roughly 337 units sold per month per seller. All right, guys, so those are the 2 products that I wanted to show you guys today. Super simple Keepa graphs that we could break down. Like I said, I'm going to do this a couple more times, and we're going to get a little bit more complex as we go on. But I didn't want to overwhelm you guys, especially if beginners are watching this. Didn't want to overwhelm you guys, because Keepa can get overwhelming, especially your first few products. But trust me, you guys are going to do this so many times that it's just going to be second nature. I probably take a minute maybe for each one of my products, if that. Sometimes I can do it faster, but when I'm looking at other people's products, like my students, then I'll take my time, because it's not my money, right? I want to double check, I want to triple check, and make sure that this is going to be a good product. After you do it a bunch of times, it'll just be second nature. I know there was a ton of information I gave you, so when you are trying to scan and do your own product research, just refer back to this video, use it as a resource, and just make sure you're kind of breaking everything down. Remember, just to recap, you want to look at the highs, you want to look at the lows, you want to look at the averages as far as price, you want to know the average sales rank and the sales rank, how it fluctuates. You also want to make sure you're looking at your competitors, because you're not the only one that's on the listing. You're going to be dealing with competitors. So take your competitors, add yourself, and then divide it by the amount of units it sold. And then when we're dealing with Amazon, look to see if Amazon is on there. Check the pink diamonds to see if they're sharing the buy box. If they're sharing quite a bit, you can confidently go in and know that you're going to get some sales. All right, guys. Hopefully you guys found this video helpful. If you did, make sure to let me know by giving this video a big thumbs up and letting me know down below in the comments. Now, if you guys want to know how to ungate on Amazon, and I give you a ton of information in this video that you will not find anywhere else, make sure to watch the video on the screen, and I will see you guys in that next video.